and badass bands of all time. Tonight is the night that Kiss enters the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
While the 2014 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame featured the induction of Nirvana, Peter Gabriel, and Cat Stevens, to name just a few, many of those who went to Brooklyn to see the ceremony earlier this year came to see a purposely overlooked Kiss get into the Rock Hall. Now that many have had a chance to see an edited version of the ceremony on HBO, which debuted in late May, with the exception of Bono inducting Bob Marley, many are thinking that the greatest Rock Hall speech ever might possibly be Rage Against the Machine and part-time Bruce Springsteen guitarist Tom Morello, who inducted the costumed larger-than-life band.
Well, Kiss was my first favorite band, so it felt great to be inducting them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're very deserving, and I think that both the Hall of Fame, tonight was not just great for Kiss, it was also great for the Hall of Fame, which now becomes a more representative institution. Well, I think that the more that the Hall recognizes one of the strongest limbs in the tree of rock, which is hard rock and metal, the more legitimate and authentic it becomes, and that with Rush last year, Kiss this year. Those are huge strides for people like me who in the past have, it's not that I've questioned it, it's just like, I love the idea, I love the institution of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the actual building and the museum are spectacular. And I would love for there to be one place for everyone who picks up a microphone, a turntable, an electric guitar, bass or drums to aspire to be. And when the Hall represents all genres of music, I think it should be hip-hop, I think it should be pop, I think it should be folk, it should certainly be metal, the best of each of those genres, it's going to be a place where everyone wants to be, and that's what it's headed towards. Well, good. I was speaking honestly in the voice of a Kiss fan, so if it resonates with other Kiss fans, I'm pleased, and it comes as no surprise. Kiss is a band that deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're one of the greatest rock bands of all time, and they for my generation, they were the Elvis and the Beatles, and they made me love rock and roll. They made me want to play an instrument, and all those bands that I said, from the Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nine Inch Nails, Garth Brooks, it's a huge list of bands, many of whom I suspect might be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame one day, that would not have been bands had it not been for Kiss. I think last year was a turning point with Rush, was a turning point for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I think Rush is the kind of band that's sort of like not a critic's favorite, let's put it gently like that, and Kiss falls into that category as well. And by acknowledging these bands that are clearly awesome and deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and have the musical and the, sort of both the musical and the rock and roll is not first. While Rush is a band of musicians, and Kiss is a band that wears makeup and also plays some kick-ass songs, but there's no one criteria. If something is great, it's great. Rush is great, Kiss is great, Cat Stevens is great, and they all deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Biggest challenge? It's a lot of songs, man. In Australia, we had 17 shows and played 129 different songs, so it's a lot of material. Those guys have been in the band 40 years. I've been in the band like 4 weeks. The reasons given for keeping Kiss out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame were the same reasons given when I was 12 years old, 15 years old in junior high and high school. It's you either get it or you don't. Music is an entirely subjective medium. Entirely subjective. You can't put any sort of objective criteria on it, because clearly, record sales don't. Otherwise, the Bay City Rollers would have been the first ones in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But as I said in the speech tonight, it was Kiss's music that had an impact on me. They were our generation's Beatles. They were our generation's Elvis, our generation's Rolling Stones. They made everyone who loved that band want to pick up an instrument. Also, it was a conscious act of rebellion to be a fan of Kiss. You were immediately put yourself not only in opposition to authority figures, to parents, but to other kids in your school who wanted to beat your ass when you wore a Kiss t-shirt to school. So you had to stand up for yourself and stand up for what you believed in at a very, very young age. That made an impression on me later in my career.